2015, I got to be the guest on the JennyQ show, which at the time was Facebook Live's very first full-on variety show, talking about, you guessed it, my favorite thing in the world, improv.
That's right. And then in 2016, I practically begged Megan to let me be the live streaming correspondent for her Idaho Laugh Fest. Idaho Laugh Fest was an event, a multi-day, multi-venue event where she flew in over 70 comedians from all over the country to entertain us here in the Treasure Valley. And so that was a huge honor to be the live streaming consultant in 2016.
Yeah, and we knew early on when we met each other that there was definitely some collaborative vibes happening, and the parallels of the types of connection that we were looking for with our different industries, we just couldn't quite pinpoint it. So fast forward to 2019, and we sat in my kitchen one day and said, we're gonna figure this out. So with those Mr. Sketch smelly markers a-flying on giant Post-its, we just started throwing down ideas, and we're like, oh my gosh, it was right in front of us the whole time.
ImproVideo.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. What's ImproVideo? It's an obvious, clear blend of our skills, you see. What's delightful about this is that we came up with an opportunity to help people build their brand and be able to communicate in a more unique way through live streaming by infusing improv insights and be able to reach out to their next client quicker and more uniquely.
Right, so to give you a little bit of a background, I have a digital marketing company that I've had since 2007. Now, if you think back to 2007, digital marketing was websites, SEO, and Google, and a little bit of email marketing on the side. By 2012, I was fully immersed in Facebook and Twitter, and I was being invited around the Treasure Valley to teach business owners how to use Facebook and Twitter for business. The question that I was always asked at every presentation was, what is the ROI of social media? And I would look them in the eye and say, the ROI is you get to still be in business in 5 years. Fast forward to 2015, where Periscope brought live streaming to the masses. I completely fell in love and took a deep dive into live streaming, learning in all angles of the camera, in front of the camera, behind the camera, working with a producer on the East Coast to produce different shows for big brands. And so by 2016, I was being invited around the country to do presentations on live streaming. And I'll bet you can guess what the answer was, what the question was that everyone asked. What's the ROI of video? And the answer was the same. You get to still be in business in 5 years.
Okay, JennyQ, but why specifically does it need to be video?
Video. Well, video, right now, today, 82% of all content consumed online is video. So maybe even more of an interesting question is, why live streaming? Well, live streaming is an unprecedented opportunity to make connections in a faster pace than what we're used to. Currently, we go from networking event to networking event to networking event, and then we connect one-on-one, whether it's through coffees or Zoom calls or connecting through LinkedIn. But with live streaming, we can broadcast from one to many.
So obvious.
Right. We can talk to many people who are possibly our prospective clients and educate them on what we do. We can entertain them with who we are, and we can truly connect with them and then answer the questions they have and kind of show them the problems we solve before they even contact us, before they pick up the phone to call our office, before they visit our website. Now, it gives us the opportunity to show up with authority and credibility instantaneously, and maybe even more importantly, it allows us to build the know, like, and trust factor even ahead of video, and here's why. When we log on to YouTube, we know that those videos have been edited post-production, right? But with live streaming, you log on to see who these people really are. Like, when you go to a car race, you don't go to see who's going to win. You see who's going to crash.
Correct.
That's what you want to see. When you go to a hockey game, you don't really care who's going to win the game.
Nope.
You want to watch the fight.
Correct.
Right? And so with live streaming, you log on, yes, to be informed and educated and entertained, but also you want to see who this person really is in real time and how do they handle the things that might go wrong. The dog jumping in on their lap, somebody asking a very awkward question in the comments, or the tech going wrong. So then you get to connect with them on a heart level. The most common question that I get when people find out about live streaming and the power of live streaming, they say, what the heck do I talk about? And it's usually much more colorful language, a few expletives in there. And so typically what I say is, what are the top 10 questions that people ask you about your business, your service, your products? And that's a good start.
For sure.
But there's something intrinsically wrong with it. It gets you in your head talking about the things that you know in the lingo that you use to try to connect with people who don't have a clue what you're talking about. In comes Improv Insights.
That's me. Okay, the beautiful thing about improv is that it is designed to really help us to fight that urge to self-edit. It is designed to help us connect and to help us step into what our most unique version of ourself is, kind of at a quick pace. A lot of times when I talk to people about improv and what I do, they're like, I can't improv, I can't be funny, I don't know how to do all of that. When really you guys are improvising all day long, every day of your own life. And so understanding that and using some simple tools to heighten your own awareness of how to be more on your feet and to not think so much that you have to justify everything that comes out of your mouth, it can step into a really beautiful place. So when we start to merge these skills with building your brand, it eliminates kind of that barrier that we put up to go, oh my gosh, I need to say these certain things to be accepted by people, when really the more authentic we are to ourselves and allowing the playfulness that's deep within inside us to unlock the creative things that are like marinating deep in our brain wrinkles and those good subconscious juices, like let those things come out so that you can add a little bit more life to the content that you create. And in doing so, like it really does help with connecting a lot more beyond the jargon. It tells people what are they going to feel and how are they really going to benefit from using your business. So there's a lot of different types of activities that I teach, particularly in the workplace, that naturally the fun comes. When you put your guard down and you get to just say the first thing that comes to mind, then naturally people are going to giggle and be like, oh my goodness, why didn't I say that? I had no idea that that weird thing was in your mind. But really, everything is connected, so just let it free flow. One of my favorite activities to play is called 3 Things. And the way that that works is we get in a group. Sometimes, I will say honestly, if I don't have a group and I'm just at home working on a project and maybe I have writer's block or maybe I just am in a bad mood, this is legit a simple exercise that just shifts what's going on in my brain. So I might be sitting at my desk and just look at something in my own house, a picture on the wall, or the floor that needs to be vacuumed from the cereal that was spilled that morning, whatever the thing is, and just immediately say the first 3 things that come to mind from whatever the prompt is. Now, the way that it works, I'll tee it up, and then we're going to dive in a little bit more about what that looks like. But if I were to just say to JennyQ, yellow.
Lemon, citrus, tangy.
Okay, now give me one.
All right. Conference.
People, informative, backdrops. Okay, how about holidays?
Fun, family, festive.
Okay.
Oh, let's do coffee.
Delicious, undeniably paramount, and expensive.
Ah.
Okay, Now, you might be thinking, okay, what does all this random stuff have to do with anything? Well, if you get into this little bit of a playful mode, you can get a lot more colorful with the content that you create. That's when you want to have like some wordplay and really just think, what's a different way to approach any given subject, right? Then when you take it into an industry level, it's an important thing to notice, like, these were not super weird things that we said. Sometimes you might hear what seems like a normal-ish prompt, and then someone else might blurt something totally unhinged. And yet, if that is what they really thought of when they heard that word, it's important to take note of the content and data that we are getting from other people so that we can more meticulously formulate a plan to speak to our potential audience, right? So let's give you an example then if we were to dive into an industry. So one of you tell me, shout out, what's a real industry that you are in? Skincare.
Ooh.
Okay, skincare.
Expensive, involved, and hard to find.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, give me one.
Okay, all right. So let's have another industry. Fitness. Okay, fitness.
Sweat, expensive, time restrictive.
Ah, okay.
Okay, give me another industry. Designated driver. Dude, designated driver. Designated driver.
Fun times, drunk, and worth it.
Okay.
Okay, another industry. Health and wellness? Okay, health and wellness.
Important, fountain of youth, ergonomic.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, now, so then if you just, that's like just the teensiest little sampling of like, okay, what if you were to ask 3 of your friends or 3 complete strangers? You wouldn't be surprised probably to know that I have literally asked people on the street, like, what are 3 things that start with the letter R? And then they will stop because they're so shocked that they're getting such a weird question that they'll tell me 3 things without thinking. And then I'm like, humanity.
Right.
If you take that, though, and start to unpack, like, okay, we heard a couple of common themes in there.
Sure.
Expensive. Like, there's some things we know
Right.
are pain points within our industries that we need to overcome, right?
Absolutely. And so the way to transfer that to your video creation and your live streaming is you're out of your head. You're not thinking of all the things you already know.
Yeah.
Now you can address the pain points that come from the people who could possibly be your next client. And if you do this with enough people, you now have a lot of topics that you can cover on your live stream. And what a cool, easy entry to say, you know, I was talking to some people yesterday and they think that having a designated driver is worth it. I want to tell you 3 reasons why it's worth it.
Exactly.
Boom. How easy is that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. And because some of the things, like, we're all so different that you're going to get just an endless treasure
Right.
trove. And some of them will be really positive. Others might be tied to a really negative thing. And being sensitive and aware of all of that goodness just will give you such an edge in how you present your brand.
Absolutely.
So we're going to give you something that's actionable today, okay? Get on any of your favorite social media platforms. Take a selfie.
Bonus points if it's a video.
Bonus points if it's a live stream. And I want you guys to get on there and say 3 things that you love about your industry. It can be anything at all. Just to spur the dialogue and just get a little something rolling that will tee you up. And something this simple yet fun and kind of a different spin on what our normal posting, maybe our normal posting habits are, will naturally set you on a trajectory that's going to help you to stay relevant.
And stand out from your competition.
And to ultimately build your brand.
Absolutely.